The MSM might finally be catching up with the death and destruction unleashed on Britain and the rest of the world by cursory and unnecessary COVID lockdowns. But tragically, this apparent revelation is 2 years too late. The damage, both to our health, our economy and our future way of life, has been obvious to me since the first national lockdown was imposed in March 2020, following the playbook of communist China. My overarching mission on this show has been to have the important conversations about the most damaging public health policy of all time, which the vast majority of the media, the establishment and our so-called leaders want to avoid at almost any cost. This was my opening night monologue on the very first night of this channel in June 2021 that at the time sparked total outrage from all the usual suspects who campaigned to see me reprimanded by Ofcom for daring to question the efficacy of lockdowns on a national news channel. Lockdowns are a crude measure. Mark my words, in the years to come, we will discover they have caused far more deaths and devastation than the government has ever admitted. They should be wiped from the public health playbook forevermore. But tragically, the doomsday scientists and public health officials have taken control. They're addicted to the power, and the government is satisfied its 15-month-long, never-ending scare campaign has suitably terrified the public into supporting lockdowns. But if we don't fight back against this madness, some of the damage, I think, will be irreversible. It was always going to take some time to get the devastating statistics to back up the idea that a policy of lockdowns was catastrophically wrong. But it was obvious to me what was just around the corner. Those statistics, by the way, they're now coming thick and fast. The conclusions are unavoidable and undeniable. This striking front page of the Daily Telegraph suggesting the effects of lockdown may now be killing more people than are dying of COVID should be leading every news bulletin in this country. Instead, our dramatic excess death toll is virtually ignored by the BBC, ITV News and Sly News, which used to trumpet COVID death figures on an almost hourly basis. Remember that? Now, the around 1,000 excess deaths each week from conditions other than COVID, which is 14.4% higher than the 5-year average, they are almost certainly connected to lockdowns and also side effects from the unprecedented vaccine rollout. Another topic, by the way, the MSM refuses to touch despite spades of evidence and tragic human stories. The officials who terrified the public on a daily basis, backed up by a crazed media and gutless politicians, well, they have blood on their hands. A small group of honourable folk, many of whom now appear regularly on this show, like Professor Carol Sikora, he's here later, they shouted from the rooftops that delays and deferment of treatment for a host of conditions like cancer, strokes, diabetes and heart disease were going to be responsible for thousands upon thousands of deaths in years to come. We tried to warn people and wake up the rest of the population while being dismissed as COVIDiots, deniers, and the anti-vax brigade too. And yet there's still no apology, still no acceptance of a gigantic error. In fact, the same irresponsible and evil idiots who got us into this mess want lockdowns, max vaccination and muslins to return this winter. We cannot and will not rest until the true damage of lockdowns is exposed and accepted, so we learn the mistakes of our recent history.